Personable, funny, and kind-hearted. These are just a few words to describe our classmate Nick. We sat down out last week for our interview, and he felt like an old friend, even after just talking to him for only a few minutes. But maybe that's just the Southern hospitality. Nick calls Wilmington, North Carolina home, which might sound familiar as it was recently hit by Hurricane Florence. Luckily, his family was able to safely move down to Florida and wait out the storm. But nonetheless, still a little scary for him and his family. Makes the transition at Pepperdine a little bit interesting, I would say. But he said all in all, he has had a pretty smooth transition to Pepperdine, although it was a big leap of faith coming all this way out here. He's lucky to have one of his closest friends from high school also as a freshman at Pepperdine with him, funnily enough. He's lived in Wilmington, North Carolina since he was in 7th grade, but he did spend a good portion of his time in Connecticut as well. And he has had a good time getting to know some new friends here at Pepperdine. He's studying history and hopes to be a high school history teacher when he graduates because he thinks it's important to know and to understand and to be able to tell a little bit about your history as well. He played tennis in high school, and his parents also open and franchise bagel and donut shops. So every other year they would switch between a bagel and a donut shop. So always the frequent breakfast spot. Nick is very close with his family. He said his dad decided they should open bagel and donut shops because he had run restaurants before that and didn't like that he was always gone in the evenings. So the bagel or donut shops can close around 2 or so in the afternoon, and then he still has plenty of time to spend with his family. Nick also has an older brother who's 24, who he's very close with. They both bond over watching movies on Netflix, and he says they share a similar sense of humor. Nick's parents have also been huge inspirations to him in his life. They're both extremely dedicated and hardworking people. He says his mom is a little bit of a clean freak in the best way, and that every day she gets on her hands and knees to scrub the floors. His dad is also a huge success story. He was born in the Bronx and is truly a rags to riches story, as Nick would tell you. He started out working at a hospital in the laundry department and was later moved up all the way into the administration because of the work ethic he showed and the dedication to his job. And that's something that Nick really admires about him and his commitment to his family. They also always enjoy dinner together every night, which is something that's made a big impact on Nick, and it's a reason that he really loves to share meals with people and get to know them. Another story or event in Nick's life that had a big impact on him was his dad had a very, very close friend who became terminally ill. And his dad dropped everything, time and time again, to travel, to be there for him, to spend time with him, to have tests done on himself to see if he'd be able to donate a kidney. He really went the extra mile. And when his friend did pass away, Nick's father was devastated. And Nick said it was horrible to see him go through that, and he would never wish that on anyone. But at the same time, Nick said that that's the kind of friendship he wants for his own lives. He hopes that he could do the same as his father did and be willing to go the extra mile, to give anything for his friends, and to be heartbroken if something bad were to happen to them. Nick, in his relationships, really values honesty. He said that he would rather have someone talk about him behind his back than lie to his face. And he is really here, he thinks, to connect with people, to be there for them, to be a good friend to others. So I hope this gives you a little bit more insight into Nick. And all of this is to say, if you're looking for a good friend at Pepperdine, I would start with Nick.